All right, Kevin, my friend. I think some of our guests here at Tulalip are realizing that you're a huge part of Taste of Tulalip, as well as the Tulalip Resort as a whole. I think they'd really like to know, what was your aha moment, and how do you take that aha moment and say, aha, I love wine. I'm going to become a winemaker.
The aha moment came in about 1987. I was dating a gal that ended up being my ex-wife. Her dad actually popped open a bottle of French wine, and first taste was like, you mentioned the aha. I was like, holy crap, is that what wine's supposed to taste like? Fast forward a few years, I'm in Chelan 2 summers ago, 4th of July, sitting there with my girlfriend. My ex-father-in-law walks by. She goes on to tell him about this dinner with this bottle of wine, and he's like, oh, an 82 Mouton Rothschilds. And she's like, are you kidding me? You remember that? And he's like, oh yeah, you remember 100-point wines when you open them up. And I actually bought some grapes from one of the local wine and beer shops and made 10 gallons my first year. And it actually didn't suck. It turned out pretty decent. I did a 5 gallons of Merlot and 5 gallons of Cab Sauv. So that was kind of the starting of Barrage Cellars.
All right, Kevin, I got to know you over the years, you dining in Tulalip Bay and us talking about wine, and
Right.
You actually becoming a winemaker. Kept hearing it, and then one day you come in and said, we're ready. And then you asked me to taste your wines, which is a big honor for me, so I really appreciate that, and excited for what we're doing.
I remember this because you said that you're honored to have me there. I was actually honored that you would actually take me in that cool back cellar and let me pour the wines for you, being this new guy on the block. And then as I've done this a little bit longer, I've found out from other winemakers that Tommy Thompson's kind of a tough nut to crack. Yeah. So I feel pretty honored that you even let me in the door. So I remember saying, well, I got this little Riesling, I doubt if you're interested. And you said, no, break it out. So I opened it up and I thought, oh my gosh, here goes my sale. He's gonna he's gonna think this is what I'm all about. And you tasted it, and I remember that. I remember you saying, wow, what's my price on that? And I told you, and you said, I'll speak for 45 cases. And I was like, well, which, 4 or 5? And you said, no, 45 cases. I think we can sell 45 cases by Christmas. And I was like, holy crap.
So Kevin, you have a very high standard and high quality when it comes to the fruit in this Merlot. I mean, this is definitely not your sideways Merlot.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of it, and I have to say it's probably my most award-winning wine. I put some wine down here, and I think they're all pretty good. I try to treat each wine different. I don't make Cab Franc the same way as I make Cab Sauv, and I don't make Cab Franc the same way as I make Merlot. Again, I think you got to try to go with what Mother Nature gives you. This year, 2011, lower alcohols. Just, it's the way it's gonna be. Washington's a premier growing region, and I think the guys that are growing the grapes over there are doing a pretty darn good job.
All right, Kevin, so how much vineyard management do you get in when it comes to your fruit, and really how involved are you in that process?
The guys that I deal with, as far as vineyards, Red Willow. Mike Sauer's been growing grapes since 1973. What am I going to tell him? Seriously. I've learned more from him than what I'm going to tell him. I like to think of it as a great collaboration. I want to make the best product possible from the vineyards that I deal with, because I want that to show for them. And I also want to be able to get that fruit year in and year out.
So what did you do to get fruit of this quality from these amazing all-star growers here in Washington State?
It started out with a couple of guys that I mentored under, and they were in the vineyards, and so I kind of got a half a ton or a ton and made the wine and put it in a bottle and then let them try it, and hopefully they liked it. I guess there's 2 things when it comes to winemaking that I've just told myself that as long as I'm going to do it, I'm not going to skimp on, and that's vineyards and barrels. I can go back to talk to Dean or Perry. You can't make a good meal unless you start out with some good food, some good, good ingredients, and that's the way I feel.
Cheers to that.